Welcome back to Real Talk with Renisha, the show that aims to inspire, encourage, and empower you as I speak with real guests on their journey. Today, of course, I have another amazing guest. She hails all the way from the Bay Area of San Francisco. She's an entrepreneur, mom of two, grandma of one. She's the founder and executive director of Melanin Unlimited, a nonprofit organization, which she'll definitely tell us more about. Please welcome to the show, Miss Shawnee Burnett. Hi, Shawnee. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
How are you?
absolutely. I am doing well. I am so glad that you're here because I know we spoke about doing this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm definitely excited to hear about your nonprofit. It is an amazing, amazing profit that organization that you are involved in, that you have founded. We're going to go straight right into it if you don't mind.
I don't. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. So tell us a little bit about how Melanin Unlimited came to be. What was the path? What happened that you said, I want to do this nonprofit, and tell us more about the nonprofit as well.
Well, I've always wanted to do a nonprofit since I was younger, but I thought that the paperwork was just really, really hard, right?
Yes.
So the way that I came about with Melanin Unlimited, a few years back, I was meeting with my mentor and I was developing a program, which is our I Am program. But my vision was different. It came from a place of fashion and production, putting on fashion shows
Nice.
and yes, and pageants. Because I have an 11-year-old daughter and she is a model. And so I wanted to implement my I Am program in building up the models for self esteem, self
Yes.
worth, self confidence, and just building up the whole person, but through modeling.
Yes.
And I wanted to be like a course that they went through. And then at the end, we have a fashion show. That was the initial vision.
Okay.
But having an 11-year-old daughter in school, she's in middle school, and hearing the things that she's talking about in school, and she's coming home telling me that, there she's going through that stage where, the girls can sometimes be catty and, all the things that's going on social media. So I had been working with another organization and we were going into the San Francisco Unified School District and we were working with girls
Hmm.
um, just teaching them about conflict resolution, working together, that it's okay not to see eye to eye or get along, but you can coexist in places and spaces with people that you don't always see eye to eye with. Because as you get older, you're going to have a boss that you might not like. You're going to have a coworker. But in the real world, you have to learn how to adapt and, show up as your best self. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so because of that, working with the girls, and I had my own program, I had started my nonprofit, but I wasn't like pushing it yet. I was just like doing all the behind the scenes. I had already had my program developed, but I was adding to it
Hmm.
and just, doing different things. And then um, in beginning of this year, I
Hmm.
had an aha moment. I was in the shower and something came over me. And I'm very spiritual, and I feel like God was speaking to me. And he helped me develop another initiative, which is our Dining with Our Daughters program.
Okay.
So because of the need that I find these young ladies are missing or lacking, there's a gap.
Hmm.
Hearing from my daughter working in other schools, um, I came up with our Dining with Our Daughters, where it is as a platform for women and girls to come together over a shared meal, and it gives ladies a space and place, a safe place to feel her valued, seen, cherished, loved, and for us as women, it gives us an opportunity to pour into them from a full cup. So that's really where, the vision came from. Like my daughter and seeing the need from working in the school district that these young ladies really need um, guidance, rearing, redirection. They need to be loved on. They need to be hugged. Um, and they need to know that we are here for them.
Excellent. I feel like something happens in middle school.
Yes.
Ooh, something happens in middle schools where you have these young girls who are like almost like being terrorized
Yes.
sometimes. Just the bully, I find it so much
Yes,
more intense at middle school, even more so than the high school level.
it
Oh
is.
my gosh, I feel like this is a great age group, I would say. This is an excellent age group to start instilling these things in, or even before middle school, because something happens in that lifespan for these young girls, especially. That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. We'll talk a little bit more about the dining and even the I am, dining with our daughters and the I am project. But tell me a little bit about your advocacy work, and how that is going, especially with this type of age group that you're working with.
My advocacy, I've been an advocate for myself because I had to be a voice for myself growing up in um, places and spaces where there was the lack of, my parents. And as I had my children, I became an advocate and a voice for them. And I taught them to be voices for themselves and to advocate for themselves. I've done work in numerous nonprofits working with young people
Mhm.
and working in marginalized communities with families around advocacy in the schools,
Mhm.
as far as teaching parents how to communicate with their children's teachers, how
Nice.
to just show up and advocate. And in the beginning of the school year, write a letter to the teacher and see if
Mhm.
you can have some one-on-one time. Introduce your child, introduce yourself, because I feel like
Yes.
having a parental presence
Yes.
is very important in merging the gap when your child is working in, with, teachers.
Yes.
And so I've done a lot of advocacy around literacy, education, and just families.
Yeah.
And now my advocacy is for our young ladies, and
Mhm.
also advocating for mental health because I feel like
Yes.
it is so important. And growing up when I was younger, mental health was so taboo, and
Correct.
it had been shunned upon. But I feel like more than ever, we need to embrace mental health
Mhm.
and tap into your mental wellness and your mental well-being, and find out how to release some of your triggers, or even just things that bother you, or just
Mhm.
learning about what mental I feel like so many people suffer in silence
Yes.
around
Yes.
mental health
Mhm.
because they're not educated. They don't know, the signs of mental health. I know a lot of people are dealing with anxiety, dealing with depression, dealing with
Correct.
stress,
Mhm.
and they don't really know that they are. And I feel like the more we talk about it, like I just had
Yes.
my therapy session before I came here. And
Yes.
I go to therapy
Excellent.
once a week, and that's part of my self care. But
Yes.
I feel like speaking about it, advocating, sharing, um, out more, and normalizing therapy, normalizing
Correct.
wellness will change how we view and look at the world, and it will make a better place for us to all kumbaya.
Kumbaya moment. I love it. Yes,
Yes.
yes, you are so right. The more we talk about it, the more we let others see that mental health and mental issues and us advocating for ourselves, even through those channels, it's not a bad thing. It's actually a great thing.
No, it's
People
not.
don't know that. It's a great
No, they
thing.
don't.
These,
Yes.
these young ladies, they need to know that there is a safe place for
Yeah.
them to talk about their feelings and what's going on in school. A lot of times I feel like they can't speak to their parents about what's going on. They just feel like their parents won't understand. Of course, they would because they've been through, most of us have been through some of the things that people are facing now, their kids are facing now. But for whatever reason, and it could be that relationship that they have or don't have, they don't feel like that they can speak to their parents about certain issues. And this is where you go and you have that space. Imagine an entire 45 minutes or an hour space just for yourself to just talk about anything and everything that you're dealing with that's bothering you, that's making you sad, happy, whatever it is. It's such an amazing space. And that
Yeah.
definitely needs to be normalized more. So I'm glad to hear that therapy is part of your self-care. It should be
Yeah.
for everyone,
Yes.
and it's not even a space sometimes where we're having issues. Sometimes it's a space when we're good
Yeah.
and we can just go to therapy and just be in that space because we're good. Because we know as life keep lifing, what one of my clients just said,
Right.
there will be times when, yeah, it won't be as good. But guess what? I'm already in that space. I've already created
Yes.
that environment
Yes.
for myself.
Yes. Yes. And life is a
Beautiful.
roller coaster.
It
You
sure
have
is.
you have your downs, and you have to learn how to navigate and appreciate when you're at your high. So when you go to those lows, you coasting through those lows so you can get right back up to your high. I tell
Exactly.
my son that all the time.
Nice.
Life is a roller coaster.
It
And
sure is.
if you was a fly on the wall in my therapy session, my therapy, we, I be cracking jokes in therapy because
Oh, yes, absolutely. That space calls for it sometimes.
I'm in such a place of peace and happiness, and I just feel like the things that I'm affirming are coming,
Yes,
and it's very
yes,
important to to have an outlet like you said.
yes,
It's very
yes.
important to have that safe space.
Oh, absolutely. And again, people think therapy is all about gloom. I'm
It's
always cracking up with my clients. We're laughing so much, we're so hard sometimes. It's like, are we really in
Yes,
therapy? Yeah, we are. We have those moments when that's what presents itself, and it's beautiful to have those
it is.
moments
It's
on the
very,
roller coaster.
yes.
Yes. Awesome. This is excellent. Very, very good. And I'm glad that, again, that you are a person who is out there showing and showing up for these young ladies that this is okay. It's
Yes.
okay to do this. It's okay to be in therapy.
Yes.
It's okay to talk about stuff that's hurting you, that's bothering you, or even things that are just making you happy. It's okay, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because that age group is it's, their next step is adolescence. So they really are at a critical stage right now to kind of like understand certain things of what's happening next and what's coming next,
Right.
physically and mentally,
Yes. The body just go through so many
Absolutely.
different changes, and you don't really understand in those moments what exactly is going on. But it's important to, like I tell my girls, everything that you have, everything that you need is within you.
Love
You have
it.
to go in deep and pull it out. Going in deep, you might pull out some things that you that's not so good, but those are areas that you need to work on and work through. But you go in deep because everything you have is within you.
Absolutely. I love that. We already have everything that we need. We
Yes.
just haven't touched on it yet. Like I said, it might be so deep that we
Yeah,
even want to go to, but it's already there. It's within us. It's
it
within
is.
us.
It
Oh,
is.
I love the advocacy work. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. We talk a little bit about your aha moment, and you said I think it was part of the creating the I am program, or was it the dining with our daughters for your aha moment?
My aha moment, um, I think it probably was a little bit of both, but for
Okay.
me personally, I think my aha moment has been learning how so important my piece is. Peace
Yes.
is
Ooh, yes.
like there is no amount of money that could match.
You got it.
I didn't know, you don't know that younger, but where I am in life in my 40s, my peace is everything. I'm very intentional about my peace. I'm growing in so many areas where I learned not even not to entertain certain things and just let it be. So, because my peace is so important.
I mean, I have this written on this little monogram, and I think on one of my business cards, little case. Peace of
Yes.
mind is priceless.
Yes.
It's absolutely said, no amount of money in this world would I give for a peace of mind. It is priceless. And you said, I feel like it's something that we have to learn how to navigate. Like I said, sometimes to maintain my peace, that means I cannot even
Yes.
conduct a conversation with XYZ because I know XYZ will be probably too negative, might bring me down. And right
Mhm.
now, I am
Or
not in that
a trigger.
space.
Or
Trigger me. Not in that space. So guess what? I can't entertain it right now. I gotta pull away.
right. Yes.
And that's
Yes.
self-care too.
It is.
Knowing when.
Yes. And being intentional about
Absolutely. That's
who you
self-care.
allow to come into your space, your world.
Correct. I'm doing a lot of work with some young ladies, probably in their 30s, um, where friendship relationships now are broken up because they're on a different path. And it's
Yes.
hard for them to leave certain friends behind who is
Yes.
not on the same path or who have no ambition, at least at the moment, to be on that path. And it's this
Right.
struggle and it's this battle. But you have to let them go because they
You do.
will bring you back down if you don't.
You have to let them go in order for you to grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's easy to say, but we're talking about it right now, but
Yes.
seeing it on others, I'm like, this is so hard for them. This is such a struggle for them
Yes.
to do so. But I'm like, you have to.
And that's not the in their 30s, they're going to go through it again in their 40s, and they're going to go
Exactly.
through it again.
In
Like
their
I
50s.
yes, I have these conversations with my daughter now about friends and friendships and picking, your battles. And
Yes.
I told her, I can't pick your friends for you, but
Hmm.
you know how you like to be treated. So that
Correct.
determines your friend, how
Yes.
someone talk to you, how someone show up for you, how someone advocate for you. All of those little things are important in developing one who you are and to developing your friendship circle, who you allow in your space.
Absolutely. And again, this is a great age for our young ladies to be thinking about that stuff because we don't even think about that stuff. We just
Yeah,
don't. So even thinking about it right now, this if she sticks to it, this will take her way, way, way into the future. Because
and
if
yeah,
well, I was gonna say it falls into relationships. Who do you
yeah,
pick for a mate? Who do you pick for a boyfriend? It falls into
exactly.
all of that stuff.
It does.
Sure does. It's very important. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. I love it. Tell us a little bit more about the dining with our daughters. I know you gave like an overall broadcast about it, but like what exactly goes into that and a feel like that?
So, dining with our daughters come from a place of etiquette,
Yes.
not only etiquette at table matter etiquette, but etiquette in teaching the young ladies how to show up for themselves, how to present themselves, how to represent themselves, and how to advocate for themselves.
Mhm.
So, it's um, a program where we're pouring into them and again teaching them that they have everything they need within themselves, but we're
Correct.
also teaching them about etiquette and um, school etiquette. How do
Yes.
you respond to certain situations? How do you advocate for yourself when your back is up against the wall? Because these are techniques and learning tools that they're going to use down the line when they're going after a contract for their own business or they're interviewing for a job. So just
Absolutely.
show up and how you represent yourself. We had our first dining experience
Mhm.
April. It was the 1 year anniversary of Melon Unlimited. And we were hosted by a restaurant locally here, and we had 10 young ladies and 15 women.
Wow.
And it was just really nice to bring together community, sisterhood. It was mothers and daughters, but dining with our daughters is not just mothers and daughters. Although there are mothers and daughters, but
Mhm.
we had a grandmother. You can be a
Yes.
grandmother. You can be an auntie. You can be a mentor.
Yes.
You can be a teacher. Any
Mhm.
woman who has a full cup and they're willing
Yes.
to pour
Love
into
it.
a young lady is welcome. And the young ladies, it's any young lady who is open and willing to learn and grow and develop and go within. And honestly, my focal point is those young ladies who lack that maternal presence, because I
Correct.
was that young lady who lacked that maternal presence. And if it wasn't for the aunties and grandmothers and mentors and different
Yes.
who advocated and poured in and rooted for me, I wouldn't be here having this conversation and being in this position to give back and pour into young ladies now.
Absolutely. Mentors are important. I think it's one of our questions later on, but definitely important. But what I
Yeah.
like what you're saying and I hear is having women who are coming with a full cup.
Yes.
Love that. That's so important. That is
Yes.
so
And
important.
I say that a lot. It has so much meaning when I say it,
Hmm.
but I also say it in a sense of cliche because dining with our daughters. So
Yes,
learn from
yes. Full cup. I like that. Yes, yes, yes.
yes,
But metaphorically, we know you can't
yes,
be broken. You can't be a broken person to come and mentor and give
yes,
advice and give the best of yourself if you yourself is broken,
yes,
you know? You
exactly.
have to be coming in full, ready and equipped to help these young ladies on on
Yes,
on their journey. So I'm loving this dining with our daughters and the I Am program.
yes. The I Am program is based around self esteem building, um, self love, self
Yes.
confidence, self worth, self awareness, and self care.
Correct. Yeah.
Teaching the young ladies, and we do it through a series of um, workshops and
Okay.
elements. We use emotional intelligence, using your emotions intelligently,
Absolutely.
future speaking, speaking things as if they already are, teaching young ladies how to affirm themselves. We use affirmations.
Right.
The intent is to do retreats and continue, like, so we'll do small group circles and start it off with a um like a check-in, just how you
Mm-hmm.
do. And I think that's very important to tap into how are you doing today,
Yes.
because oftentimes we just start conversations with people but not checking in and finding out how are you doing, and teaching young ladies to listen for, because so many people are dealing with mental issues and dealing with depression and stress and not knowing how to navigate those feelings.
Yes.
I think it's important to listen. When my friends say certain things, or sisters, I'll go back and I tell them, I heard you. Or even in a text message, I heard you.
Yes.
Because you want to check in.
Correct.
I think checking in is very vital in letting someone know that they're not alone, because the world that we're living in right now,
Yes.
so many people are unaliving themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's those small cries for help that we hear but we don't hear. So that's why I teach young ladies to
Mm-hmm.
listen and also be, because it's important just in at their young age, their friendships. My
Yes.
daughter, or different girls, they'll say that they have a friend dealing with such and such. Be a listening ear, be supportive, let her know that you're here.
Mm-hmm.
If it's something that is dangerous, that's when you need to reach out to an adult. But I think
Correct.
those elements are very important.
Wow. Wow. Love it. Who is teaching that these days? No one that I know. It's so important
Yes.
because this is again where we lose. No one is teaching us to have self-esteem. No one is teaching us that it's okay to not be okay. No one is
Right.
teaching us to look at ourselves and think that we're beautiful and we can be successful and affirming, and no one is. So just to
Yes.
hear that your organization is doing that through this program, that is so amazing because this is like the age to do so.
Yes.
And listening, oh my gosh, be quick to listen and slow to speak.
Yes.
Gotta
And
listen.
that's a skill.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yes.
It really
That's what,
is.
yes. That's why people are therapists.
That's right.
Like,
You
it's
gotta
a
learn how to
skill. It's a
listen.
gift
Yes.
and a talent. Yes. It's
It's
a skill, a
true.
gift, and a talent.
But just for the regular individual person, like I said, who's listening? Like I said, we start a conversation, we just start off. We don't
Yes.
ask people how they're doing, or even if we do, it's just part of our greeting, and it's not really like we really care to know. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that gets lost in translations a lot of times. People
Yes.
are fine, but are they really fine?
Fine. Yes.
Exactly.
Or I'm
They're
okay.
not. And
Mm-hmm.
they're really not because we're not paying
Yeah.
attention.
And yeah. And
No,
it's important when you know your friends or the people that you communicate with. You can hear, like, sometimes you're on the phone with a friend, a girlfriend, or a sister or whomever, and you hear it in their voice. You hear
correct.
that I'm okay, like the way it sounds is different. So those are the
Yes,
things I think is important. But that's with age for the young girls to develop that part of it. But in the
correct.
beginning, just first of all, in order to be able to help anyone else, you have to learn how to help yourself. So tapping into
Love
who
it.
you are and
Correct.
and working on those special parts of you.
Attributes of yourself. We have to
Yes,
know who we are. Again,
yes,
you can't do this kind of work if you yourself is broken, if you yourself is half full, if you yourself are not doing self-care and doing the things that you want to advocate for when you're not
right,
doing that. You can't do it.
right.
You really can't. So
Exactly.
you
If
have
you're
to be
not
doing it.
going to therapy, if you're not making yourself a better person, how could I be preaching and teaching and pouring into these young ladies? And it's almost hypocritical.
It totally is. You have to. But again, and my next question kind of leads to that is we don't have to be perfect either to do
No,
those things. You know,
no.
my question is, who were your model? Who were your role models? Who were your mentors when you were growing up? Because you didn't just come out of the womb and here I am, perfect. Now I can
Right,
do this kind of
right,
work. You had a
right,
process to take as well. Talk a
right.
little bit more about that.
Of course, as a young child, every girl looked to her mother,
Correct.
you know, as a role model. So my mom, she was a role model of mine. And then there's, I have a strong support of women. Like my grandmothers are there, may they rest in peace. My
Yes.
grandma Rose and my Nana Winfrey, they were my role models. My grandmother and my Nana, they were my everything. And they they are why I am the woman I am today. I strongly believe
Wow.
others are just
Yes.
they're essential, and they are. It's just something special about being a grandmother, and I can only hope to live up to who they were and my
Yes.
to be in my grandson's life.
Yeah, because you are a grandma. So yes,
I'm
you're
a
beginning
grandma.
that process now.
Yes, yes. And my grandson, he's in Atlanta.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so that's hard for me.
Yes.
Um, but yes, my grandmothers, and I've had a host of women who have poured into me. One of my longtime mentors, her name is Wanda Whitaker,
Yes.
and she's a transformational coach. And she came into my life. Actually, I was in a pageant. I was in the Miss Juneteenth Inner Beauty pageant. And part of my I Am program derived from my experience going through the Miss Juneteenth Inner Beauty pageant,
Okay.
wanting to keep some of the pageant was put together by a woman named Ave Montague, and may she rest in peace.
Okay.
But Ave and Wanda worked together on the pageant, and I just felt like the teachings and the things that I learned from the pageant helped rear me into parts of the woman I am.
Hmm.
And although I didn't win the pageant, I felt I walked away as a winner. And you can only feel that way if you know within yourself you have a pageant, a trophy, a plaque. None of those things matter
Exactly. Hmm.
when you know what's in here,
Correct.
within you. So that's a pivotal moment to me, and I want all young girls to have that feeling. Um, no accolade can amount to what you have within you and can identify you, or the likes on social media, or all of
Hmm.
those things that
Yes.
these young people thrive or live for. It
Yes.
doesn't mean anything. It's supposed to come from within. So um
Wow.
yes, I've had just I've I feel very blessed
Hmm.
with the women that God continued to put in my life. And um I've had a great deal of um there's a woman by the name of Margaret Norris. She was a part of my um scholarship program, the Omega Boys Club Street Soldier. Miss Norris was a mentor. Dr. Marshall, he's like a father. So with Omega, Dr. Marshall was like, well, is he's like the father of all of us. We're the
Wow.
children. All of the participants and graduates, like we're the children, and we come together once a year. In the summer,
Mm.
we'll have like the family picnic, the Omega
Mm.
family picnic, and all the guys and the women, like they're my brothers and my sisters, and we're
Yes.
a big extended family. So having like the Omega Boys Club and Margaret Norris, when I went through a very trying time in my life after my freshman year in college, I got really, really sick.
Mm.
And when I had to have open stomach exploratory surgery on
Okay.
my stomach, and I had Miss Norris, but prior to me having the surgery, I I was really sick,
Mm-hmm.
and I had lost substantial amount of weight. And they were saying that I was anorexic and bulimic, and they had
Mm.
me in a mental institution, but it wasn't mental. I was really sick.
Right.
And having Miss Norris come and pour into me, and the my brothers and sisters from Omega write me letters, and
Wow.
Dr. Marshall calling me and what do you need? And even now as an adult, he calls me, he checks on me. I probably just talked to him probably 3 weeks ago. So
Wow.
having that outpour of community,
Yes.
I can't really just name one mentor. I've just really been blessed to have a village.
I was going to say that. Because we talk about, yes, it takes a village, but my God, your story, it's a literal village. So
Yes,
many. You've
yes,
been blessed to have come across so many amazing people
yes,
who are part of your upbringing. Oh
yes,
my gosh. So we know it's very important for any of our young ladies and even our young men, right? To
yes.
have a role model. And it's
Hmm.
sometimes we don't have a family role model, and that's okay because
Right.
community is there.
Yes.
And that's good for them to have community growing up. Because again, all of these experiences that I hear you just, speak about, I see you in those roles now with these young women because
Yeah.
someone took the time to do all of these things, to care about you, to pour into you. And that's what now you're giving off. So it just evolves and it goes around back into that circle. It's beautiful. Like I
Yeah.
said, we know you didn't just fall off a tree and just became this amazing
I'm
person. You
here.
know what I'm saying? You just didn't do that.
Right.
So the
Yeah.
story behind the story is, of course, all the community that you've had and all the relationships and the
Yeah.
mentors and the role
It,
models
it
who
is.
thought it was important enough to be a part of your life while growing up. And again, I see you shaping now that for the next generation. So we know how important it is for young adults, young women, young men to have that. It's
Mhm.
super important.
Yes. And the young ladies that I work with and mentor, my daughter included, they will carry that torch on.
Absolutely. Well, we hope they do. I kind of feel like it's so embedded in who you are because you
Yeah.
wouldn't be doing it even at a young age if you weren't already invested. If there wasn't a part of you who literally just spoke to that.
Yes.
This is hard work.
Yes. I definitely can say my daughter will give back. She is like since she was little, she loved going to feed, like we call them the homies, the unhoused.
Yes.
She because I would take my kids out, and like in the winter, if we would drive around and like go to Kentucky Fried Chicken and get
Yes.
the what is it, the famous bowl, chicken
Yes.
bowl
I think I'm not sure
with
if it's
mashed
new.
potatoes because it's warm and it has mashed potatoes with gravy, corn, and chicken.
Okay.
Get that, and then I would go and find a homeless person to give a meal to because it's
Mm.
cold.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and a friend of mine, she always does a yearly um, unhoused feed given
Yes.
for her birthday. And because my daughter has been placed in these environments, naturally, it's what she enjoys doing.
Correct.
I really do see, I see her carrying the torch.
Yes,
And
absolutely. Yes. Because I was going to ask you, I mean, did you ever imagine yourself in these roles and in this position? But I think you had because of where you came from.
yes, I always, as a young child, I would want to have an orphanage.
Oh,
I wanted to have an orphanage.
wow. Yes. Wow. Yes, I can see it. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, is that something that might be talk about you being a work in progress for the future? I don't that's amazing though. It's so amazing. It's so incredible.
Yeah, so I've had visions of a lot of different things. I also wanted to have what I am I call it the sunshine center. Well, that's what it was when I was younger. I would say I want to have a sunshine center, and it's a back then my vision was just having a safe haven for children to come,
Wow.
have food, feel love,
Wow.
probably a lot of things that I may have lacked or felt that I lacked at those ages.
Correct.
As I'm older, of course, the vision will probably change a little bit, but yes,
Absolutely. So then we know there's a lot more for you when it comes to this type of work. It's amazing though. This is
yes,
hard work. And I tell people there's no amount of money in the world that can satisfy a
yes,
person's soul when they're doing, first of all, what they absolutely love and enjoy. It's not
yes.
even work. It's just who you are, just
Comes
part of
from a
who you
place of
are.
passion. Yes,
Absolutely. Yes, beautiful. Oh my gosh. So in your bio, you had mentioned the lack of information and resources we talked about for mental health in like schools, you talked about on jobs in Black communities. And just, sometimes we talk about just the community as a whole is lacking these resources.
yes.
What do you think can be done about this? How can we make this better for our communities and even future communities?
I feel like educating our communities is key.
Yes.
Just like with COVID, and I always use this because I honestly feel that mental health has always been bad.
Correct.
Like a lot of people have had mental health, but since COVID, it has gotten worse.
Correct.
And how COVID was advertised from the government all over the world. This is COVID. This is how you identify it. These are the symptoms. This is,
Mhm.
these are
Yes.
how you prevent it.
Yes.
I feel like we
Yes.
should use that same approach with mental health.
Yes.
This
Right.
is mental health.
Yes.
You identify it.
Some of the symptoms. Yes.
These are some of the symptoms.
Correct.
Like educating our community on what mental health is. When I say people are living through, are people are suffering in silence. That's what I meant to
Correct.
say. So
Correct.
many people suffering in silence because they don't know that they're dealing with anxiety because they're masking it with alcohol or drugs
Mhm.
or, you
Mhm.
know,
Correct.
sex or
Hmm.
work or who knows what. They're
Correct.
masking it with things,
Hmm.
but they're suffering.
Hmm.
And so many people are alone. You might
Correct.
be in a room full of 1,000 people, but you're alone.
Yes.
And I feel like the more that we continue to normalize,
Yes.
educate, and advocate for our communities, the better we will be. I feel like there should be, just like they have clinics in the urban communities,
Hmm.
they should have wellness centers in the urban communities with
Yes.
therapists available,
Yes.
24-hour service, where you can call, where someone might, a safe place where you can come or someone might be able to meet up with you, not
Correct.
have to go to emergency, not, I just feel like we need to pour more into mental health and there should
Right.
be just more resources
Right.
available.
On a local level. Because
Yes.
I think we know that on a national platform, yes, we have the numbers for the suicide prevention line and we have the crisis line and we have all of these numbers,
But
but
people are
these are
not
not
going,
local.
yeah, and I feel like when it's in
Too
your
personal.
backyard, in your, and these people might even just, because like if you have these wellness centers, these are people in the community, you can see
Correct.
tangible. You're not as comfortable to call an 800 number crisis number and just talk to a stranger.
Exactly. A random
So
stranger.
I
Yes.
think that it's very important to like start bringing more awareness within the community, in arm's reach locally. And although I do see a lot of more people are advocating or
Yes.
holding, even for men's, they're doing men's circle groups for
Yes.
women,
Yes.
women's circle groups. I'm to the point, because I'm very new in my organization still,
Hmm.
and I don't have a physical space or place
Okay.
access to places, but I'm also in the beginning of capacity building and funding. I'm going after grants and different funding streams. So it's very limited. As I say to people, I'm self funded, but I call it God funded.
Yes.
Yes,
I
I'm
like that.
funded. So I feel like, for me, starting to do more Zoom
Okay. Yes.
circles, even just starting off doing Zoom sister circles,
Absolutely.
bring
Absolutely.
and going to the park, just making the
Mhm.
space available, creating these safe spaces
Correct.
where we can come together and bond, share, love,
Hmm.
care on each other.
Yes. A safe space doesn't have to have borders. We know
No,
that it doesn't. I think it's better when it doesn't, because then
yes,
you're not in a box per se.
exactly.
I love the
Yes,
park. Hey, because of COVID, here we are in Zoom. It has made it so much more
yes,
appreciated for meeting people, greeting people, talking, having circles, having group chats. So absolutely, this is a definite space to have these kind of off encounters.
it
Beautiful.
is.
Beautiful. So my next question is, if you were to look back on 10-year-old Shawnee, 12-year-old, your daughter's age, for instance, what advice would you give yourself for the future? Now that you know.
To keep going and that
Mhm.
everything that I have is already within me.
Yes. Gosh, if we only knew that at that age,
Yes.
wow, could be different. But again, because this is a journey, right? We have to
Yep.
learn and we have to grow and we have to make mistakes to be
Yes.
better in the future, for future us.
Yes, we
But
do.
it's all part of it. It's all part of the lesson. It's all part of the growth process. It's all part of the process. It really is. And we can't skip it because
No, we
then
can't.
we would miss out and we would be different people if we did. So
Mhm.
yes. Oh my
And
God.
you learn from your mistakes, and those uncomfortable moments in life are when you're growing. So all of those things develop and make you into the person that you are. I
Absolutely.
don't regret. Um, I don't have a lot of regrets. I feel
Great.
like
Perfect.
everything that I've experienced and been through have molded me into the woman that I am today.
Correct. And even with regrets, right? Even quote unquote bad things have happened, quote unquote, depending on the layer of, each person, something bad. My bad may not be your bad may not be my bad. But again, if this thing didn't happen to me in my life, would I be able to persevere? Would I be as resilient as I am if
Yeah,
something really negative didn't happen in my life? How would I know how to deal with that kind of stuff? I
yeah,
wouldn't. I wouldn't. And we talked about life being a roller coaster. We're going to have the highs and the lows. So I have to know how to be in my highs, but even more importantly, at my lows.
yes, you
Even more
do.
importantly, at my lows. So I have to go through these things. That's how
Hmm.
I learn those lessons for whatever reason I need to learn, because that is going to help empower
Hmm.
me and bring me to who I am today.
Yes,
So I love that I have a lot of regrets. That's great because we shouldn't. Because again, it was all a factor in our life to propel us to who we are today. It
and I
was.
have a motto. I just feel like everything happens for a reason. And we don't always know what that reason is.
Correct.
But oftentimes it's to prepare you for the next level. You don't
Absolutely.
always see it when you're going through it, and sometimes it's what we feel in the moment, the worst thing ever.
Correct.
But oftentimes it's preparing us for something greater.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. And guess what? If we can't go through what we're going through right now, again, knowing how life is and what we don't know what the future holds for any of us,
no,
are we going to able to go through even worse, even
yes,
more, if we can't
yes,
handle what we're going through right now? So yes, it is everything that's happened for a reason, but
yes,
we may not know, and we don't need to know because we don't need to know everything because there's a process of how things occur and how things happen. But we'll see it in the future or the
yes,
reason behind it in the future. And that's what's important.
yes, it is. It is
Absolutely.
definitely.
So your life is still in progress. What is next for you? What are we going to hear about a couple of years from now? I know you're working on a lot of different projects. What are we going to hear from Shawnee Burnett and Millennium Unlimited in a couple of years down the road?
Well, definitely, I my vision is for dining with our daughters to be global.
Ooh,
Dining
beautiful.
with our daughters is an experience I would love for every young girl to experience with a group of women. I want it to be where women and girls all over the world are out dining,
Yes.
these
Yes.
conversations, educating, using their etiquette tips,
Yes.
and taking pictures and hashtagging dining with our daughters.
Love it.
I want it to be that global where we're able to click
Love
and
it.
see it pops up all over the world. And just being able to take my programs into other entities.
Correct.
I would like to get into more schools. I would like to get into foster homes, foster
Yes.
care,
Yes.
probation juvenile, and just, group homes,
Yes.
just wherever there's a need.
Beautiful.
I would like to be able to educate our young people and be able to provide resources and
Correct.
pour into them. I see great things flourishing and great partnerships.
Absolutely.
And yeah, that's what I envision. Right now, I am just working hard and diligently. I've gotten some really great emails, some great things are coming down the pipeline.
Beautiful.
Prayers up, and also just working on continuously developing myself, developing my skill sets. I'm in the process of getting my life insurance license, and then I'll go on to eventually get my investment license because
Mhm.
a part of our program is also um, financial empowerment. So I
Yes.
want to be able to financially teach and empower our community
Yes.
and our young girls, teach them about how to budget, how to save money, how to invest.
Yes. That's
So,
lacking.
yes,
That's a definite need. The financial piece, everything else is amazing as well. But the
yes,
financial piece, again, nobody's teaching us, nobody's telling us, and we struggle as
yes,
adults until we figure it out on our own, and nobody's telling us. So I
yes,
think, again, starting on that level and putting away some of your allowance.
yes.
Do it.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I teach my daughter that now. I have her a card. She has this app card, and
Okay.
she get a weekly allowance. And then I teach her about putting some in her savings. And it's important. And in her school, she's learning about finance because she
Mhm.
was so adamant in last year speaking with her teacher that they're implementing. I guess they've implemented a portion for sixth grade. They're learning about finance. So
Beautiful.
that's really really great. That's
Yes.
really
That's good to hear.
yeah.
It's never too early to start, as Susie Orman would say, right? Start putting away for that rainy day, little girl. You
Yes,
never know.
yes. It is so important to have a cushion.
Yes.
It's so
Yes.
important,
Well,
especially now.
well, that's what sets us apart, right? Because we can have a great job, but we don't know when we're gonna get let go. We don't know when, because of what's happening with the economy, when we can,
Yes.
and we need to know that we have our 6 months plus,
Mhm.
we'll be okay. Just
Yes.
feeling that financial independence is empowering in its own self. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
And teaching young ladies how to use their talents.
Yes,
If you love makeup, you could be a makeup artist. If,
absolutely.
just using
Absolutely.
your giving talent, talent
Correct.
to, as additional streams of income.
Absolutely.
Being
Yes,
creative and creating um, extra income for yourself is very important.
absolutely. And I feel like a lot of people don't trust themselves, even with their talent. People have amazing talent, and still they're so afraid. We're so afraid to step out and that leap of faith. We're so afraid to do so. And
Yes.
you're like, no, don't be afraid. Do it.
But that's
Try
what
it.
talents are for.
Exactly.
If we don't use them, we might lose them.
You might lose them. They're wasted.
Mhm.
And we have that. Again, it's inside of us. Everything that we have is already inside of us. Sometimes we just don't tap into it.
Yeah,
Love it.
that's the part of teaching you how to go within and tap in.
Absolutely. Important, very important, because it's there. We just don't
Yeah.
know it yet. It hasn't been reached. It hasn't been developed yet, tapped into yet. It's there.
Mhm.
So I know you talked a little bit about your self-care. Tell us a little bit more of what self-care is like for you and how you engage in the various things that you do to take care of yourself.
Self care can be as minimal as walking the marina. I
Yes.
love water.
Yes.
So
Nice.
part of my self care, sometimes if I feel anxious or I feel like, oh, I just need to, you know, go somewhere else out of my norm,
Yes.
a walk um, at the marina or just going to a body of water.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's allowing the waves to come in.
Yes.
And as they go out, you release.
Yes.
That's part of myself. I
Love
feel like
it.
meditation is part of my
Mhm.
self care. Eating right is part of my
Correct.
self care. Drinking a
Yes.
lot of water is
Correct.
my self care. So, something my therapist challenged me with today. I'm going to implement this into my self care. He said, "How often do you just sit and do nothing?" Oh my goodness!
Hard one. Multitasker over here myself. That's a hard
Yes,
one.
I'm like sit and do nothing. So that's gonna be a part of my self care that I am. I'm just gonna do 5 minutes and just continue
Yes.
to increase in intervals. But I'm gonna implement just having quiet alone time for myself.
Correct.
He was
Correct.
asking me, um, you know, how much alone time do I have
Mhm.
for myself? And
Mhm.
I really don't. He was like, how, because I'm just on the go, glued
Correct.
into business, like just really, really, and whatever contract I'm working out on, I'm just really,
Correct. Yeah. In it. Yeah.
one thing
Engaged.
connects, multitasking
Correct.
in a business incubator program. So I have homework, I have class once a week. So,
Yes.
and then my daughter, she has her activities. She's modeling, she's acting, so it's like
Yes.
constantly on the go.
It's a lot.
Yes.
Yes.
So I would say, my self care consists of being intentional about setting aside space for myself, although it's hard because oftentimes I've been extremely, extremely busy.
Correct.
But taking those walks to the marina or driving to a body of water, even if I don't get out, but just
Mhm.
being in that space and
Yes.
the water and taking bubble baths, lighting my candles. So my daughter, she'll
Yes.
my water and
Love it.
she'll come down and she have the candles lit and so those things.
Yes.
Having writing, I haven't been able to write the way I prefer. I've been doing more program writing. I mean, it is a form of self care because I'm building, but it's not
Yes.
real self
Yes.
care. But
Hmm.
just journaling, writing,
Yes.
reading books,
Hmm.
those are part of, because for me, especially read a good read, not always an educational book, but just sometimes just a good read,
Yes. Yes.
me to escape from reality.
Yes. And sometimes we need that because reality, like you said, you're such a busy professional. You're a mom. You have so much going on. Do I want to read another book on how to do XYZ? I want a fairy tale right now. Give me a
Yes,
fairy tale right now, someone,
yes,
please. A good adventure, you know? Yes.
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 Yes. So also my self care consists of my daughter. She's a snuggler, so she loves to snuggle.
I love
So
it.
we'll have movie nights.
Nice.
Sometimes we go to the drive-in, but oftentimes we'll like just getting on our couch, getting our good popcorn or snacks. I'm an ice
I love
eater.
it.
I love ice. Bad habit, but
Ice.
yes, I love ice.
Okay.
Guilty pleasure.
Wow. I mean, hey, there's no calories, right? So you're
It's no
good.
calories, and it's I'm getting my water intake, so that's
There you
also
go.
part of. I I love ice. Ice is part of my self care.
I love it. I've never heard that before. I love ice. Okay. Wow. Okay. Different, but okay.
Yes, I also think that chewing it helps. It helps. You know how they have those stress balls for anxiety?
Yes.
I think chewing ice helps me.
Oh, okay. I
I
must
think
give this to my clients. I must recommend it to some of my clients. Hey, what about chewing some ice once in a while and see how that feels for you? You
yes,
never know.
it's
Oh,
soothing,
wow.
relaxing. Yes, I love to not
Wow.
hard ice. I I have an ice maker at home, but
Right.
one of my favorite places, Jamba Juice, has the best ice. One of the
Really?
best ice, yes. In Atlanta, there's oh my gosh, there's a few places that have because Atlanta is like our second home, and
Yes.
I
Yes.
love going to get ice. Yes, when I'm in Atlanta because it's so hot and or humid. So
So do you just go in and order a cup of ice? Is that what we're saying here? You, yeah. It's all good.
even Starbucks.
That's all good. Yeah. Gonna some ice. Yeah.
But Starbucks get enough of my money, so yes, they should just give me some ice. So
For free. That's right.
yeah,
First time to hearing this, but hey, it's all good. It's whatever works for you. It's
yes,
perfect. If it works for you, why not? And
yes,
again, it's calorie free. You don't have to worry about that. You get in your water intake.
yes,
Perfect.
yes.
Wow.
Taking a trip here and there is my self care. But one of the things that I do, and it's a bad habit, but I feel like it's self care.
Okay.
Like if I drive somewhere, I have to sit in the car for a few minutes before I get out of my car, and that's part of my self care. It gives me time to kind of debrief
Yes.
from the drive, or maybe if I was talking on the phone or whatever. But it just kind of gives me I kind of relax and
Yes.
uh, you know just become present to where I'm at and what I need to do.
Yes.
I'm about to go grocery shopping, so
Yeah.
those like sitting in my car is also part of my self
I
care.
like that. Because you're taking time, but just take a few minutes to just take a step back
Mm-hmm.
before you go into the next thing. I like
Yes,
that actually.
gives me a breather, like
Yes, I
a
like that.
okay. But also breathing techniques is
Yes.
part of my self-care and is very, very important. It
Yes.
helps you to channel your inner zen.
Yes.
And again,
Absolutely.
yes,
Well, again, it's talking about taking that step back. Let me just take a breather and like literally doing
yes,
a breathing technique exercise.
yes,
Absolutely. And it helps. People don't realize how much that helps you in any given moment. It
yes,
helps you.
yes.
Yes. And now I'm ready to go do whatever I
Tackle
need to
the
do
next,
now.
yes,
The
tackle the
next
world.
thing.
Mhm.
Love it. You have a vast amount, and I love that you do because, like we said, one size doesn't fit all, and every different day, depending on how you feel, you have
Exactly.
a vast to pick from. But
Hmm.
the true and eyes, I've only heard about that from pregnant women. Something about
I'm
those
pregnant.
hormones during being pregnant. They like it's like a habit. I've had girlfriends who are true and eyes during, their gestation period. But after that, I've never have anyone say, I love true and
It did.
eyes.
It didn't stop after pregnancies.
It just continues.
And I probably ate ice so much while I was pregnant. My kids love ice.
Oh my gosh. It runs in the family. Hey, again, it's not a bad thing because you do get your water intake. And if you got to get it through true and eyes, then it's
Yes.
all good.
You know, some people say it's low iron. It
I've heard
might
that
be,
too.
but I still love ice.
Well, if you know you don't have low iron, because we can get that checked and you still
Yes,
like it, and we know it's not even, it's not about that. I have
yes.
heard that too, though. Yes, low iron. Interesting. Hmm. Ice and water for low iron, but who knows? Who knows? We are winding down here, but so loving this conversation, Miss Shawnee. Oh my gosh. Again, so much laughs, right? Because why not?
Yes,
Laughter
yes,
is
I absolutely
medicine.
love it.
Yes, laughter is medicine. Before we wrap up here, is there anything else you want to leave with our guests, with anyone who would look at this in the future? Anything that you want to say about who you are or the program or the organization? Anything?
Well, thank you, Rennie, for having us.
Absolutely.
Be out, keep Melanin Unlimited in your mind. Visit us on our website at www.melaninunlimited.org for updates and current events, what's going on with us. We're always in the community.
Love it.
Weekends, we're tabling at different events. This coming weekend, I have a few tabling events.
Nice.
We're making our presence known and building. Also, keep your eyes and ears open for dining with our daughters
Yes.
as we're taking this global
Yes. Ooh, I'm excited. I am
to
chills just thinking about it.
a safe space, a
Yes.
restaurant, a venue near you. So I want people to embark on the experience and embrace it and dine with your daughters, dine with young women, set the tone and the example of one, teaching them about tips and etiquette of
Yes.
table manners, but also teaching them about etiquette and how they show up for themselves, how they advocate for themselves, and how they be their true selves. The idea of Melanin Unlimited and our programs is to build up the whole girl.
Yes.
And um, before my time here is over, I would like to know that I made a difference
Yes.
in so many young people's lives because there are so many women who made a difference in mine and has given me the ability to be here to pour into other young ladies. So I'm just doing in my eyes what I call is God's work. I'm being a vessel and I'm allowing him to use me and
Yes.
take me into whatever direction he sees fit for me to go. But I'm also being an example to one, my daughter who looks to
Correct.
me as a woman, but also my son, so he can know, have an example. My son is 23,
Hmm.
but so he can know and have an example of what type of woman, to marry and to go after, and for my grandson, so he can have a great image of me as his grandmother, and
Beautiful.
for them they can carry the torch and implement some of these same teachings
Mhm.
in a male version as well. But
Absolutely.
I'm gonna move over a little bit so you guys can see my
Yes.
oh,
Love it. And she's also, oh, I love that. It's beautiful. And
yeah.
you're also wearing the t-shirt, correct? So,
Yes, I have
yes.
my Melanin Unlimited t-shirt on
Yes.
today. And
Yes.
we will be having t-shirts and other merch coming soon up on our website.
Yes.
The community, I'll be having t-shirts as well for sale. And yes,
Love it.
just be on the lookout for the great things that we will continue to do in educating our young people and pouring into our women, our young ladies, because I feel like it's just vital and important. And as women, we are often with our backs up against the wall. And I want to continue to teach our young ladies to walk in a softer girl era where they can get the same
Mhm.
results, but without having to compromise who they are
Yes.
and just stand up for who they are, but it's just in a different manner.
Love it. Oh my gosh, this has been amazing. And
Yes,
any and everyone can get involved. So I will definitely have your website posted up in the description section. But if people wanted to volunteer, if people wanted to become a part of this
yes,
organization, they will have a place that they can go to as well. Because again, this is something that all of us can do. It's just a
yes,
little piece. Let's give a little piece. And to make this global, guess what? We all have to get involved
yes, we
because
do.
these young people are looking up to us as the adults now for their future. So we definitely can get involved. Whether you have kids or you said aunties, it doesn't matter. They are our daughters. They are
Yes,
all our daughters.
yes, they are.
Absolutely. So I'm excited. I already told you I would definitely I'm interested in becoming a part of this organization. Wherever piece you'll have me, I am willing
Yes,
to be part of that because I just think it's such a beautiful organization and what your company is doing. I just wish when I was a little girl, way 100 years ago, right, that I even had a place to even think about where I can develop
yes,
skills like that we're talking about right now. So the
yes,
next generation doesn't have to work as hard as we did. to get the skills that we have today because there is places and spaces that they can
There
go
are.
to,
Yes.
yeah, and learn and develop even at the very critical age of middle school and earlier. The earlier, the better.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my
I've had
God.
about going into elementary classrooms. So,
Yes.
yes,
I think so. I think the younger we start out teaching them a certain way,
yes,
developing them a certain way, it's the better.
yes,
By the time the elementary child, young lady gets to middle school, she already coming in with a set of, things in her that she already knows
yes,
from 3, 4 years ago.
exactly. It's important.
Very important, so important. Shawnee, thank you so much for giving me your time. I know you're so busy. I
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for having me. We finally got our dates together.
Correct. Two busy professionals trying to narrow it down. But you know what?
Yes.
Everything happens in its time. And clearly, this was the right time for us to have this conversation.
It definitely was. And I do still need your information and we'll talk offline, but I am excited that you're open to support us. And,
Absolutely.
yes, I would love to get your information up on our site as well as a resource
Thank
for
you.
services for anyone who, needs someone to talk to or, some
Absolutely.
guidance. Yes,
Well, we talked about breaking down the stigmas of mental health, right? So we can talk about it, but we got to be about it too. So I want to
exactly.
definitely be about that as well, because that will be a part of breaking down that stigma.
Yes, it will.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much again, Shawnee. Thank you so much for
Thank
taking the time,
you.
for being here and to just telling us about your organization and what you are doing. And this is what I love about this particular podcast because we're not celebrities here. We're just regular people just
Yes,
talking. And again, so much that you have said, I know would encourage and inspire someone else out there. If they were
yes,
scared to start something or didn't know how to navigate, here we go. We have a regular person just telling you her story and how she did it, and
yes.
we all can do it. So I just again thank you for being here. Guys, if you have not already liked and subscribed to the channel, I applaud you to go ahead and do so because we need to get this out to everyone out there on YouTube. I will see you guys in the next episode. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.